Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Midnight Gladness with Bishop Mack's son. I am Aaron McNair, Bishop Mack's son, your host this week. And the song that was playing prior to me coming on was Ain't No Need to Worry by the Winans. And if you tuned in last week, you noticed I talked about just a really quick about the songs that I played prior to the message and at the end, and it should tie into what the topic is or what the title of that particular episode is. So I figured I would at least announce the songs going forward so you could look it up if you don't know the songs or if you didn't know the artist, just to take a listen to the song in the event you want to hear the whole thing. Before we get started, let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is my attire. As you notice, I do not have on my Hugh Hefner style PJs, which were actually my father's. He started Midnight Gladness because he did it at the midnight hour and would have on pajama tops. And I've been wearing all of his pajamas. As you notice, they were all silk. They're all silk. So I guess he, maybe thought he was the Hugh Hefner of the ministry. Anyway, yes, I have on a Lakers shirt and a Boston Celtics hat. So for those that know me, know I am a diehard Lakers fan. Those that know our family or knew my dad know that he was a diehard Celtics fan. So this year, yes, I'm pulling for both teams. I would love to see a finals with the Lakers and the Celtics in it. That would just be fitting based on the year that we've had thus far. But anyway, I'm supporting both teams. And for those who may not be familiar with basketball, maybe, football is your thing. This is like wearing a Cowboys and a Commanders outfit at the same time. For those who are baseball, this is like wearing Yankees and Red Sox. And I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, let's get into this week's message, which is entitled Stop Worrying. Hence why we have Ain't No Need to Worry as our theme song this week. So stop worrying is really what I want to talk about this week. And as I typically do, and I always repeat this, I'll share a story about my father or my dad, the relationship we had. I'll talk about, just a quick story about something that stood out to me that I can remember to share with the world and share with our viewers out there. And then tie it into something biblical, inspirational, something motivational to that message. So Stop Worrying is our title. So question for you guys out there. Do you know of anyone, or are you that person that worries about everything? Or do you know somebody that just maybe seems nonchalant about everything, or just never seems to worry? Or are you that person? Well, my dad was the latter of the two. He, for whatever reason, never seemed to get bothered by things. And I can honestly say the only time I really seen him worry or nervous if one of his ladies were in trouble, sick or something like that. And I'd say ladies, I'm talking about his daughter, my sister, his wife, my mom, people like that, his sisters, etc. So, but other than that, and even then, he really didn't show that he was worried. He would always kind of mask it with jokes because that's just the type of person he was. He would try to bring laughter into every situation. And even then I could tell, or I knew just in those particular instances, yeah, he's a little concerned. However, he's still Willie, he's still Bishop. He still likes to crack jokes and think that everything's funny. So he was that person that for whatever reason, just always had this calmness about him, regardless of the situation. And I'll share a story. So as you guys know, he's a bishop or was a bishop, but he was a pastor, minister, etc. So as a pastor, for those who may not know, you preach every week, and every week, not every week, but as a teenager, when I was coming up, he would always, to me at least, he always seemed like he would wait till Saturday night to get his message together. And that made me nervous because I'm like, man, he's going to suck tomorrow. And, and I used to be like, why are you waiting so long? He's like, I'll get it. I had this to do. I'm doing this, that, and the other. And, inevitably 11 o'clock at night, Saturday night, he's sitting down at his computer, ready to start his sermon. And I used to be like, man, why would you do that to yourself? Why you put this pressure on? He's like, oh, it's no pressure. He said, God chose me. He said, why do I need to worry? He knows what he wants me to say, and he'll speak through me when he's ready, and he'll give me the message when he's ready. And I used to be sitting in church nervous because I'm thinking, oh man, somebody gonna be like, your dad can't preach. And unfortunately, that was just my mindset as a teenager, thinking he's gonna embarrass me, even though he was there to give God all the glory, God all the praise, and preach whatever sermon he had delivered on his heart or in his mind. And inevitably, he would always deliver a good message. And I used to be like, wow, I don't know how he does that. So even in that, it just really stood out in my memory that, wow, he was just so calm, cool, and collected about a lot of things. And I remember being younger and, I would be nervous, let's say band, for instance. I'm nervous because, or I'm worried that I might not make first chair. And for those, my music folks out there, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in a band or orchestra, things like that, to be the top dog, really, meaning you're the first chair of the instrument that you're playing. You're that lead instrumentalist. So that used to be my concern. I'm like, when I was playing saxophone, and he used to be like, you worried about it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you practice all the time. You prayed about it? Yeah. Then what you worried about? And I'm like, well, I don't know. What if somebody is better than me? And he was like, well, if they are they going to outwork you? And I was like, maybe, maybe not. But I was always worried. I was worried about, sports. So in high school, whether I was going to make the team or not. And my dad used to be like, you make the team every year. Why are you tripping? Why are you worried? And again, as a teenager, I couldn't answer that question. It was just more, something mental. And what he used to always say to me is, okay, well, is he your Jehovah Jireh? And I'd be like, yeah. And he was like, well, what does that mean? He's my provider. God is my provider. Is he your Jehovah Shalom? Yeah. What does that mean? God of peace. And for those who may not understand what I'm saying, look it up. There's different type of Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Sitkanu, and so things of that nature. He used to drill me. And honestly, I didn't even realize how much I retained until I started doing these midnight gladnesses, and things just started popping in my head. So I say all that to say there are elements out there that cause us to worry, that we get worried about. But we've been through so many situations in our lifetime that we come out and we look back and say, wow, I was worried for nothing. So let's kind of tie that into what I want to talk about this week as far as Bible verses. As I always share a Bible verse for those that want to go back and read them and read the entire chapter or the entire book. And I just shared a few Bible verses. So the first one I want to share with you is Philippians 4:6. And it says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And loosely translated, it means don't worry about anything, pray about everything. And again, that's Philippians 4:6, chapter 4, verse 6. The other Bible verse I want to read to you is Matthew 6:25 through 27. And it reads thusly, therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Verse 26, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? And this is my favorite verse right here, verse 27. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? I'm going to read that one more time. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? So I want to kind of take that and put that into context. So think about the things that bother you or that you worry about, that you've placed on your heart to pray about, and you still worry about it. So, and you're still worrying, but you prayed about it, but you believe that God will bring you through it. Have you added any time? Have you solved any problem? And I'll share a quote. I'm calling it a quote because my cousin Squirt, I'm giving you a shout out. We talk a lot, and he said something to me. He says a lot of things that are profound, but this one I want to share with everybody. He said to me one day, he was like, you know what? Why worry? He said, because if God can't fix the problem, who am I? I can't do anything about it. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, why even worry about what is going to happen if God can't fix it? So for those believers out there, and you believe that God can fix your problem, why are we worrying? Why are we up late at night? Why can't we get any sleep? Why do we have butterflies in our stomach, even though we believe that God can bring us through? So what I want us to do now, and this is, for all of us, think about all of the situations you've been in your life, your previous lifetime, sorry. And you're here. You got through it. Somehow you made it. And if you're a person of faith, you know how you made it. And yet we still worry. Do we not trust God? We say we do, but our worrying says we don't. So don't let the enemy trick you into believing that things cannot be resolved, especially once you prayed and you believe that God will answer that prayer. And again, like I said last week, put in a little work behind it, especially if it's something that you need to do to develop. But other than that, I say stop worrying. Get you some rest. Enjoy your life. Understand that God will bring you through no matter what the situation is. And I'm going to close that just there. Stop worrying. We have nothing to be afraid of. And I'm so glad we had this time together. I look forward to next week's episode of Midnight Gladness with Bishop Mac's son, Aaron McNair. Go Lakers. Go Celtics. I love you. I love you. I love you.